They say motherhood is a journey, but let's be honest, sometimes it feels more like a roller coaster with no seatbelt. I bet you're like me, wondering why babies, or teens in my case, don't come with instruction manuals. Welcome to This Incredible Mom Life, the podcast that celebrates the beautiful chaos, quiet wins, messy moments, and everyday miracles of being a mom. I'm your host, Dummy, wellness coach, mom of 3 boys, and a passionate believer that you don't have to live at the mercy of PMS, burnout, or exhaustion. Join me every week as we hear the craziest and most unbelievable mom stories. I'll be sharing the huge accomplishments and triumphs of both our moms and their kids. We'll giggle, cheer on the kids, and discuss obstacles and lessons learned along the way. If you are struggling to be the best mom you can be, how open-minded are you to booking a free call with me? You don't have to live at the mercy of your cycle, and you definitely don't have to do it alone. Give yourself permission to let me be part of your support system. I believe that you weren't meant to just survive motherhood. You were meant to thrive in it. Hello, I'm back, and I have Supermom Alicia Grantham with me. Alicia is a wife, a mom of 2 amazing kids, dog mom to a lively labradoodle, and the founder of Lavender and Lemons Coaching. After more than a decade climbing the corporate ladder as a CPA, Alicia realized that checking all the boxes still left her unfulfilled. So she traded in survival mode for a life fueled by purpose, freedom, and joy. Now, through her coaching, Alicia helps ambitious full-time working moms reconnect with themselves beyond the titles of employee and mom, reignite the passions and dreams they've been putting on the back burner, and take bold steps towards building a life they love. She's living proof that you can pack the lunchbox, crush it at work, and still chase those big dreams. Thank you, Alicia, for taking time out of your busy day to be here with me.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I love it. It wasn't in her intro, but Alicia also has a podcast called Mom's Got This Mostly. So I think we connected just on the titles of our podcast for one thing.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So tell us more about your 2 little ones.
Yes. So I have a daughter. Her name is Kinsley. She is 6. So she just started first grade this month. Actually, really very end of August. And then I have a son, Caden, who's 3. And between the 2 of them, I am constantly on the go, running around. Caden is in preschool actually at a local church right around the corner. So that's where I drop him off on most weekday mornings. So yeah. And then of course you mentioned it, it's in my little intro, but I have a labradoodle who is also, he's my fur baby. And yeah, he's been part of our family for the last almost 8 years. So
He's
yeah,
your first baby.
he is my first and my fur baby.
That's right. All right. So I'm sure you have lots of stories. So tell us one.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So apparently, Amy, potty training in my house is not just a milestone, it is a competitive sport. Uh, so back in July, we started potty training my son. Like I mentioned, he's 3, and I was inspired to do a potty training themed episode on my podcast. And in the episode, I shared this disgusting but now funny story about my daughter claiming her title as the OG poop Picasso. And she had potty trained early. So she had potty trained by 2. And I thought I read the books, I did the blogs, I thought I had nailed it. And then, surprise, she decided to show the world her like poop mural painting skills. And it was like during the daytime, she had mastered potty training, but during like nap time and sleep time, we still had her in pull-ups, and opening the door to her nursery was a little bit like Russian roulette. Like you open it and sometimes everything is fine and at ease. And then there were many, many other times where I opened up that door and she would have, pooped during her nap time. And then she didn't like sitting in it. And she decided she would cover the walls, the rug, the pink velvet curtains, like poop would just be smeared everywhere. And so I'm sharing this funny story in my podcast episode. And what I haven't mentioned yet is when I was recording it, both of my kids were at home and they were I was in the kitchen, they were in the living room playing, but I'm pretty sure my son was listening. And so just when I thought I had seen it all, it was like my son was like, "Hey, sissy, hold my sissy cup, hold my sippy cup,
Hold my milk.
hold my milk. I'm a one up you." And so, um, what I thought was an adventure with my daughter potty training, my son has taken it to a whole nother level. And I have so many stories, but in the sake of time, I will share just one. In our living room, we have a toy closet. It's like a walk-in closet under the stairs. And he had gone in there and he went poop. And of course, poop always usually comes with pee. So there was a puddle, there was poop, and then he walked through it, and then he rolled toys through it. So his little people school bus, there are at least two different toys that he rolled through it. And of course, toy companies like to make the tires on these toys look realistic, but they forget about the realistic poop scenarios. So there is poop wheeled through my house. There's poop in the grooves of the tire. There's poop on my son's feet. There are of course, it's a toy closet, and it's not like my kids put all of their toys back. So I am sniffing stuffed animals like I'm a crime scene investigator to see, did this one get peed on? Did this one get peed on? Did this one get peed on? And he needs a bath, and the floor needs to be mopped. It was just yucky. I'm sure for any moms listening who have been through potty training, you get it. It's just so yucky, and it's on his feet. So of course, I needed to mop the entire house because I didn't know where all he had ran. And at one point, I wasn't sure if my house just needed bleach or a full-blown exorcism.
Yeah.
In the moment, oh my gosh, I felt so frustrated. I was overwhelmed. I was a one-woman cleanup crew because, yeah, my 6-year-old can help, but let's be real, she's 6. So I had her start the bath for him. But other than that, it was all on me to get everything taken care of. And yeah, for me personally, it wasn't my brightest, most beautiful, brilliant self, owning mom life. I was a bit more on the frazzled side, but I can look back now and honestly, this probably happened just days after I recorded that podcast episode. So now it's funny, but in July, it wasn't so
It's still
funny.
pretty recent. Yeah, I'm glad you're laughing about it already.
I know.
And I can totally relate because I had my 2 and 3 kids are 20 months apart. So I had 2 in diapers at once.
Lord. Oh my
I was
gosh.
training one when I had the infant. I was like, oh my God. And I'm sure there are other moms. If there's a mom out there listening who has a story, share it with us. We'd love to hear it.
Yes.
Tag us on social media, something, comment below. We'd love to hear your story. So I don't even know how to phrase it, but how did you feel like you were a failure at that point, or that you did something wrong?
So I felt more like a failure in that I did something wrong after the fact. I was just in the moment, I was really frustrated. And, in the moment, I wasn't even thinking, oh, he's learning a new skill, and, mistakes happen. And instead, I was just angry and frustrated, and Kaden, poop goes in the potty. And, and so it was more after the fact, reflecting back, being like, gosh, okay, if someone were to talk to me like that while I'm learning something new, that would not be, I would be sending somebody in their place real quick. Don't yell at me. I'm something new. And so and later on, of course that mom guilt sets in. And one thing I'm learning, and I'm sure so many moms can relate, it's there are levels of mom guilt. There's the small mom guilt where it's you forgot to pack your kid a snack, or, you did whatever. And then there's like a medium level, and that's when you're yelling at your kid, and then later you have that guilt about it. And then there's like the next level, mom guilt. And that's when it's like you feel like you have damaged your kids for life. They're gonna need to go to therapy. They now have this deep wounding from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it was more like the middle mother guilt. But one thing I am constantly having to remind myself, and I will remind all of the moms listening, is that show yourself so much grace. Like, I just constantly have to remind myself, especially when I'm feeling that guilt of like, I did the best I could in that moment. And
Yes.
yeah, now looking back, I'm feeling peaceful and more grounded and hydrated. But in that moment, maybe I was hangry. My blood sugar was low. I was dehydrated. I was just in that space, the person I was in that moment. How I responded was the best I could do. And next
Yes.
time, I hope I'm in a better space and respond a little bit better. And honestly, maybe not. Sometimes it's just constantly that showing myself grace and reminding myself that literally another of my favorite reminders is that you are the best mom for your kids. Like,
Yes.
literally, they have like the universe, God, however, whatever belief system you have, that baby was put into you. That baby was blessed and given to you. And there is not a single person on this world who could be a better mom for you. So I always just remind myself of that too. I'm like, yeah, this mom's like nailing it. And this mom brings in like all of the fun snacks and goodies. And she's like the class volunteer and attends all the field trips. And I'm the one who's like scrambling the night before, drawing, like taking out a Sharpie and drawing pumpkin faces on some mandarin orange cups or something, trying to make it look cute, but really I'm scrambling. And at the end of the day, like that mom isn't the best mom for my kids. I'm the best mom for my kids. And yeah, maybe that's not the area where I thrive and shine, but there are other areas where I do thrive and shine. And those are the areas where God believes Alicia is the best mom for her kids. And those are the areas where I need to show up for my kids the best that I can.
I love that. I haven't heard that before, so I like that. I'm going to go back to your podcast a little bit because I was listening to a few episodes and you were talking about your son training, potty training,
Yes.
and you had mentioned, he was learning something new and I was getting frustrated. And I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that hit home for me when you were talking about just that feeling of like, then I realized that he's learning something new and I have to be patient with that and have grace with that. So I'm glad we could share that again with any other moms who are struggling.
Yep. And the other thing I always do, I'm so quick to apologize to my kids. And so, after that moment, once I was feeling more settled and calm, hugging him and letting him know, I'm sorry, honey. You are learning something new. Mommy got frustrated. I'll name the emotions I felt.
Yep.
And then, yeah, just showing him that. And then also like it helps to alleviate some of that guilt. And then it also, they feel better. Who doesn't feel better when someone says, I was wrong, I wasn't nice, I shouldn't have done that. Let me cuddle you and, say I'm sorry.
Yep. I was coaching a client one day and she was like, I was upset, but I didn't want my son to see it. Her son's older. He's probably, teenager, tween or something. She's like, I didn't want my son to see it. And I asked her, I said, why not? I would rather, my son see it and then see how I handled it and how I came out of it. Right. And if I needed to apologize or if I needed to do something differently or learn something new and she was like, oh yeah, you've got a point. So we don't see it in the moment when we're in it, but I think it's great that you share your emotions with him, you name them, and then you show him how you come out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think those are all really great lessons that you're teaching your kids. Now, as a coach, how do you help moms who are working, who want to reignite the flame of their dreams?
Yes. So like you mentioned in my intro, I own Lavender and Lemons Coaching, and I help full-time working moms who feel like they've just lost themselves in the grind of career and motherhood. Life be lifing. It's one of those things where, you know, in high school and even in college, we have big dreams and hopes and visions of the future. And then life just gets busy and we step into our careers and we get married and we have kids and we buy the house, or, everybody's checklist looks different, but we all just, it's so easy for life to just keep lifing. And then before you know it, you're on the sidelines cheering on and supporting everybody else while your own dream, your own vision, your own goal keeps getting pushed on the back burner, or keep saying, like, right now my kids are too young, or there's too much going on, I don't have time, but I'll get to it someday.
Yep.
But let's be real, like, as moms, we as all people know that the time is never right. Like, doesn't matter how prepared you were for that play date, there is always going to be something that pops up right before you head out the door. The time, there's always just something. The timing is never perfect. And so what I do as a coach is help to fan the flame on that dream, on that goal. What some moms might want to write a book. Some moms might want to start a side hustle. Some moms might want to start a new business altogether. Or maybe they want to go from full-time to part-time. Like, every mom has a dream, a goal. And so through working together, I help her find the time to make that dream happen. I help her go for it, like help her see what actionable steps she can take while still, maybe she doesn't I quit my job and just dove all in, but not every mom wants to do that. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend every mom do that, but because we all have different personalities.
Yes.
But that's another topic for another day. But basically, like, I help them go after that dream while still being a mom, while still working, while still having their day-to-day responsibilities. And it's so possible. It is possible for them to go for their dream. And honestly, like you and I talked about in the episode we did together on my podcast, how when a mom steps into her being the leading lady of her own life, where she's no longer on the sidelines, but she is now the star of her life, you show up in a better way, a different way. Like, you become a more present mom for your kids. You're more joyful. You're more lit up because you are having your own needs met. You are doing something that is part of your higher calling, your higher purpose. And it doesn't take away from your kids. In fact, it gives so much more to them. And you are role modeling for them how you want them to be, right? Like, you want your kids to go for their dreams. You wouldn't want your daughter to suddenly get married, start a career, life be life, and then, deep down she's a fantastic writer and she never writes that book, or she doesn't do it until she's like 65 and retired. So also remembering you are the role model for your kids. And so if you want your kids to go for your dreams, you need to go for your own. And just like we were talking about earlier, like, you show them how to you handle your emotions in different situations. Well, you also show them how to go for their dreams while life still be life in.
Yes, absolutely. I just lost my train of thought, but
No
you were
worries.
talking, I'm going to go back and then come back to this thought, but
Yeah.
what do you say to the mom who says, I want to do X, but now is just not the time?
Again, like, there literally is never a right time. Your kid will be out of daycare and into school, and you think, oh, okay, well, now they're a little bit more independent, but now you've got homework, or now they're struggling with math or reading, and you need to spend more time. There's always, doesn't matter what age or stage your kids are at. Another mom who had older kids told me, she's like, it never gets easier, it just gets different. The hard just changes, but it's still hard. Yeah, and your kids are much older than mine, so you could probably attest.
Yep.
So to that mom who's like, right now is not the right time, I would challenge it and say that right now there is not a better time than right now. And through working with a coach, you can listen to my podcast even. There are little, simple, actionable steps you can already start doing that will already start making progress towards your dreams. So even if your calendar is jam-packed and you're literally looking at it like, how am I going to fit stuff in? Well, one, if you work with a coach, I can help you really reassess and give you some different perspective on where that time is going. And I promise there's always time. That's one thing I've learned in coaching, like there's always enough time. But then
when you make the time, right?
when you make the time, there's always enough time. Because there are always things that are sucking your time that maybe you're not realizing. Doom scrolling is a huge one. So it's really becoming the owner, really owning your calendar. But then also say that is true. Say you are going nonstop from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Regardless, there are small little actionable steps that you can do that will start making progress. And then when there is a tiny bit more freedom in the calendar, then you can start taking maybe bigger steps or bigger actions. And we can dive into it more when we cover my freebie, but my freebie, it is such a simple thing. It will take you at the most, maybe, well, you can take it as long as you want, but at the least, it'll probably take you 30 minutes. And that in and of itself is already an action step that will get you closer to what that dream, that vision, that goal is that's been placed in your heart.
Oh, wonderful. So that free offer is called See It to Believe It, and I will link it below. So if there's anybody who wants it out there, go grab it. And I just thought of what I was going to say before a minute ago with my mom brain kicked in. But a lot of moms, I think we need our kids to be happy to validate our own happiness, or we need them to be having fun or doing something. And we forget that happiness comes from within, right? So when you start doing something for your own passion, your own dream, your own whatever you want to do, you are like lit up inside. And I think that just is what we were trying to say, that it's just a whole different way of showing up.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, this was so fun. Alicia, tell people how they can connect with you.
Yep. So real quick about a little bit more context about my freebie.
Oh yeah.
So it's the Working Mom's Guide to Vision Boarding with Purpose. And so one way to connect with me is to follow me, listen in on my podcast, the Mom's Got This Mostly podcast. And in my episode that's actually dropping, I think it actually dropped this past Tuesday. Regardless, it's either dropping this last Tuesday or it's coming up. But I go deeper into vision boarding and how creating a vision board actually, it really truly is a step towards creating your dream, and how I go a little bit science, talk a little bit nerdy, and how, even just creating the vision board, it starts to rewire your brain. And before you know it, without you even being taking intentional action, your brain starts seeing opportunities to, have you move towards what you've put on your vision board. And so anyways, my guide walks through how to create a vision board and different things. And then if you want some of the nerdy scientific, how a vision board actually literally works, it's not just a little bit of woo or beautiful pictures arranged, there actually is science to it, then you can listen to that episode on my podcast. But yes, so the Mom's Got This Mostly podcast. And then I'm also on Instagram at A.S.Grantham. You can follow me, shoot me a message in the DMs, and I would love to connect with any moms out there.
Send her your potty training story.
Yeah, exactly. Love to hear it. We can go together. I am still in the throes.
Yeah.
Potty training.
So that was great. And again, I will link all of your contact info in the show notes. Thank you, Alicia, for joining me today. This was so fun.
Yes, thanks for having me, Amy. Always a pleasure.
Are you struggling to be the best mom you can be? Are you fatigued, overwhelmed, and stressed out? Are you losing precious time with your family because of PMS? If so, sign up for my free gift on how to start living in tune with your monthly cycle. The link to get it is in the show notes below. Use this guide to help you start to eliminate your symptoms of PMS, increase your energy, reduce stress, and fully enjoy this incredible mom life. The way I see it, you have 3 choices. You can try to figure it all out on your own. You can do nothing and stay where you are, or you can get the customized guidance you need to thrive as a mom. The choice is yours. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something from these stories. If you enjoyed this show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. It really helps this show grow. If you have a mom story you would like to share, click on the link in the description below on becoming a podcast guest. Remember, the content on this podcast is for general information only. It does not replace any medical advice given by your healthcare providers. Please check with your doctor if you have any questions about your specific condition and before starting any new diet or exercise regimen. Thank you, and you will hear from me soon.